So it's without a doubt that new producers are being born every day, and that's just the state of the industry of music. A lot of people are getting into it, and that's just what happens because, you know, it's a super interesting thing to get into as a hobby, or even if you want to get into it professionally. Like for me, I know that a lot of music producers and a lot of people are joining the music production community because my DM is full of new producers asking me a lot of questions, and among all these questions I usually get asked which is the best DAW for beginners, which is the music software that I can get as a beginner that I can use that will suit me well. And when you ask most people about this issue of which DAW to start with, you usually get a simple and straightforward answer, and that answer is usually false for me, in my opinion. Most people usually give you the wrong answer when it comes to this topic, but in this video I'm going to explain to you in the best way possible that I feel is the truth of how you can get to that answer of which is the best software to use as a beginner. So I'm going to explain why I say that they're wrong, because most of the time when they explain to you which software is the best for you to use as a beginner, they are always biased towards the one that they use and their favorite, of which what they use might not be the perfect one for you as a beginner yourself. So that's something that I see a lot of producers do, which I wouldn't say is completely wrong, but I say it's not fair to the person asking, right? One tool doesn't fit everybody. You get what I'm trying to say? So for me, if you ask me like right now which software is the best for beginners, I would have to ask you a couple of questions after that to be like, okay, what are you trying to do? What kind of musician are you? And what kind of platform are you trying to work on? Are you going to be Mac or are you going to be Windows? So there's a lot of questions you need to ask first before we get to explaining what software is the best, because there's a lot of software. There are free softwares, there are paid softwares and things like that. So there's a lot of questions like, how serious are you with music? Are you gonna, are you planning to do this as a hobby? Are you planning to do this as a professional? How far do you want to take this? Is it just a phase? And things like that. So that's what we get into. So for me personally, I have 4 softwares installed on my computer right now, so I'm going to be using those because they're actually the most popular softwares when it comes to music production. I know I don't have all of them, and I'm sure some of you guys will let me know about the other software that I might mention that I don't have, that I cannot show you right now. But for now, I'm just going to show you the ones that I have in hand right now that I have installed. So where I want to start is by obviously the question that I asked in the beginning, like, what are you trying to do when it comes to making music? Are you trying to play instruments? Are you trying to record vocals, or are you trying to make beats? So let's start with beats, for example. Like, FL Studio is by far the best software you can get to make beats. Like, I have FL Studio opened up right now, and when you open up FL Studio, this is what you see, right? You see the channel rack, which is the the window where we make beats. So there's a reason why they start off the software when you start a new project. They start you off here because this is where you can start to create your beat, right? So you have some instruments loaded up here. Like, I have a kick right here, I have a clap, I have a hat, and I have a snare. And then nowadays they now add some flex bass, which is also a nice addition to add here. So you'll be very quick to get into making beats, you understand? So now you can just start to play around with your kicks. Like, I can drop a kick here, and then you just start adding from there. So if I want to add a clap, you get me, and then you start going. And then if you want to drop your tempo, like, I can drop this tempo down to like 90, and then you start adding more. So it's simple. I've already made a beat with just a few moves. So it makes it super simple for you to start making something. And then right here, you can see the tempo. It's right there in big numbers. So if you want to change your speed and things like that. But obviously, this is super simple stuff if you're already a professional and you already know how to do these things. But for a beginner, this is game changing. This is super simple for them to get into stuff like this, because now if I go into something like Logic, this is the first window where you want to start, right? So if I say that I want to start somewhere, obviously nowadays they have session player where if you want to start somewhere off, but then how I usually used to start, you would start with a software instrument like this, right? You start off right here. So now you tell me, how does this tell you how to make a beat? It's super difficult. You won't even know exactly how to make a beat. And if I go to Ableton, this is how it looks. That's even more confusing to me, and I'm sure to a lot of beginners as well. This is daunting, like, okay, where do I even press first to even start making a beat? So you won't even know that you need to go to the arrangement section here, and then you throw in a drum rack right here. And then after you throw in the drum rack, you want to come here and right click, and insert a MIDI clip and then start loading up your drums. So that's too many steps just to get to start making a beat. That's why FL Studio is super simple when it comes to making beats, because it's all just right there, right? So that's why FL Studio is recommended if you're trying to get into making beats. So the next thing is, if you want to record, like maybe you're a vocalist or you want to record some instruments, that's where softwares like Logic Pro, I would say Cubase, and I would say Studio One really shine, because as soon as you load up your Logic Pro, it looks like this. It already has the arrangement session set up here, where you can just plug and play anything and you can start recording, right? So right here I can just add a new pattern here, and I can just add a mic or line right here, and you can pick your inputs and your outputs. So I would pick maybe input 2 right here, because I'm sure it's this mic. So if I say create like this, and then if I press record, then I start recording, and there's already a metronome right here. So if you want it off, you want it off. If you want it on, you want it on. And if you're probably maybe recording a guitar or an instrument, that's how easy it is. Just like that. Set up your input, and then you're ready to go, and you start recording. So you can see there's my voice right there. Start recording, and there's already a metronome right here. So you can see right there, that was easy recording. Another thing that I like about Logic Pro, which is really cool, is they have a feature where if I loop right here and then I start recording, like if I start recording like this, it will record around here by the loop, and it will continue recording like this, and then you can see that it's expanding right here, right? So it's recording all those takes, and then it's keeping them. So let's say, for instance, you're trying to record a certain line, like a certain sentence, and then what you want to do is you want to record multiple takes without stopping. You want to continuously just repeat. You don't have to record, stop, start again, and record, stop, start again, and then record, stop. You just let it record on loop, and then it's going to give you all those separate takes, and then you can start to choose which part of all those takes you want. Like for instance, right here I've got this part right here, and then these parts. So I can just choose this section over here, and if I want, I can just pick whichever I want, and then you can get into more advanced techniques of doing this, but it's called comping. It's called vocal comping. So if you want to do this, you can do it easy in this software. I'm not sure how other softwares do this. And then if I come back to FL Studio, if you want to record, now you got to go to the playlist. Now you got to come to the mixer and set up your recording right here, and then you got to set up the channel itself. So there's too many steps to get to start doing the thing you're trying to do, right? And then if you go into live, it's much more simpler, because if you go into live, you just have to find your input, and then you just have to start recording. Recording is actually much more easier, because Logic Pro and Ableton Live are set up basically kind of in a similar way when it comes to the arrangement view. So it's super easy to record. And another thing when it comes to recording, if you're going to use like softwares like GarageBand, which is a free software, if you have an Apple computer like I do, it's easy to record. As you can see, it also just basically looks like Logic Pro. So you open it like this, you're ready to record, you're ready to create your music, right? So that's basically that. If you want to play instruments and you want to make music and make beats and things like that, that's where you have to choose which software suits you best. So coming back to Ableton Live is a beautiful software. It is great. Obviously, like I said, it's super daunting if you're starting out, obviously. But what I love about it is that if you do record something, and if you are trying to use loops and things like that, there's so much manipulation you can do to samples in the software. Like I can go to samples right here, and let's say I pick up a loop. So if I pick up a loop and then I put it right here, I'm just gonna put it on the channel here. So you see how it loaded up right here at the bottom. Let me make this bigger so you can see. There is a lot more controls over here on the left side right here, where you can like super manipulate this sample and the loops that you would have thrown in. I mean, you have different warp modes, you have beats, tones, texture, repitch, complex, and complex pro. There is so much advanced stuff that you can do in Ableton Live to just one sound, to just one loop or one sample. That is crazy, that a lot of other softwares don't have ready in here, and which is a great quality that this software has. If you want to do a lot of sample manipulation or manipulate a lot of the stuff that you're gonna record into it, let's say you're gonna record guitar guitar parts or even drum parts and things like that, Ableton Live you will go crazy with how you can manipulate those kinds of sounds. So again, I'm saying all this to just basically say that it depends with what you're doing. You have to identify that. Are you going to be making beats? Are you going to be recording? Or are you going to be playing instruments? And how far do you want to take it? Because again, all these softwares are all come at a different price as well. Like I said, there's also some free ones if you want to try out. If you're on Apple, you can try out GarageBand. If you're not on Apple, you can try out, I think Luna is free, and there's a lot of other free ones. I think BandLab is also free, but you can check out a list on just Google to see what are free softwares you can try. If you want me to make a video about free softwares to make music, you can let me know down below in the comments. I can definitely come back with a video like that. That's something that'll be super useful, especially if you're starting out. You might not be you don't want to settle on one software, because if you don't like it, you cannot get your money back. So you don't want to invest too much money on these softwares, because some of them cost a lot. Like Ableton Live, for me, is the most expensive out of all these softwares. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well. So above all, you have to ask yourself those questions and then see which one will make that workflow for you easier. If you want to record, you need a software that records easy. If you want to make beats, you need a software that makes beats easy. If you want to do both, you have to find a software that can help you do all of that easier. So that's how I would answer this question. So it's all up to you and what you want to do, and then you pick what you want to pick. And most of these softwares have demos, so you can download a demo, try it out, see which one you like, and then you go with that one. Because for me, if I'm using Ableton Live, or I'm using Logic, or I'm using FL Studio right now, and you ask me which one is my favorite, I'm going to tell you the one that I'm into right now, as in today. The software that I'm enjoying right now and today is the one I'm going to say, yo, get you FL Studio or get you Ableton Live. That's the best software that you can get if you're starting out. But you let me know down below how you recommend these softwares to your friends and people that are starting out. Which one do you recommend? And you can also say why, because that will also help a lot of people. Instead of just saying that I recommend this, say why you recommend it, so that people can actually get help based off this video. And also share this video with a friend who's starting out, so that they can get this insight, so that they can make an informed choice on which software to begin with. That was a mouthful. I spoke a lot, but thank you so much for chilling with me, my friends. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. I'm X, and I'm out. Peace.